I'm sorry about that.
DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Metal Storm here. I have one of the members of Cannibal Corpse with me today. Hey, how is it going? And would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band?
Yeah, man. This is Paul Mazurkowitz, drummer from Cannibal Corpse. How's it going?
It's going good today, man. Would you mind going back in the history of Cannibal Corpse and how the band all got started?
Yeah, man. A long time ago. 35 years in the making. Here we are, and crazy, just humble beginnings in Buffalo, New York, and basically the remnants of two bands put together. I was in a band called Tyrant Sin, with Bob Rousset and Chris Barnes was in that band for a little bit towards the end, and Alex Webster and Jack Owen were in a band called Beyond Death. We were playing the circuit in Buffalo, and around 87, 88, and both bands kind of fell apart a little bit there. We were looking for a bass player. I know Beyond Death were looking for a drummer, and basically those two bands sort of merged, I guess, in December of 1988. So it was just guys playing the scene and in Buffalo, and part of our first bands, and just coming together to make Cannibal Corpse, kind of a thing. So it was a pretty cool way that it all came together, and here we are, history in the making, I suppose. But yeah, like pretty cool how it all worked out that way.
Right on, man. This next one's always a good one, but a stumper. How did you guys come up with the band name Cannibal Corpse?
That was Alex Webster, the bass player. You're a band now, and I remember we had to, we make a demo tape. We got a show coming up, basically. So hey, you need a name of the band, right? So it was pretty simple. Alex came to us and said, "Hey, I got a name. Well, what about Cannibal Corpse?" And we're like, it didn't take us long to think that one over. I mean, it was just like, whoa, wow, that's amazing. It sounds great. Rolls off the tongue. I mean, it makes you think a little bit. It's cool words that go together that or shouldn't go together, and that was that. So, but it was just basically Alex Webster coming up with that name, and we jumped on it immediately, and that was that. So.
Right on, man. Just so you know, I've been a fan of you guys since the Eden Back to Life album. I think I still have my original of it here somewhere from the original Roadrunner Records pressings.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's actually Metal Blade Records.
Metal Blade, my bad.
Yeah, Metal Blade. It was a subsidiary of Metal Blade called Death Records, actually, back when we were on that. Now we're just fully on Metal Blade, but yeah, Metal Blade Records back in what was it, 1990? I guess our first album came out. So awesome, man. Good to hear.
Who designed the Cannibal Corpse band logo?
Well, the original was done by Chris Barnes when we, where you just nobody's kind of making a demo. All right, there's the logo. He drew it, and then we adopt that to the albums, of course, and that's our logo. So Barnes would have been the one that drew the original logo, and then when he was ousted of the band out of the band in '95, we decided to change the logo and kind of make it a little more uniform. The one you see today, ever since '95. So that was pretty much just done in conjunction with the graphic artist at Metal Blade Records. Us going and trial and error, kind of coming up with some cool designs, and then we just decided on what you see today. The modern logo there. So.
Personally, I thought both logos were sick and amazing, man.
Yeah, cool, man. I mean, the old logo represents the early days with Barnes and the band, and then, the new logo, I guess, represents, with George in the band. Obviously, we've used this newer logo way longer than the original, but the original is the original, and it's a big part of the band, of course. The whole history, you can't deny any of that, and that's cool. It's kind of interesting to have two logos, but yeah, no, the fans like both, and there's always that kind of debate or talk about what they like better, and nothing wrong with that. Everyone's got their favorite eras and their favorite logos, or they like both. It's just it's the way it goes. Yeah.
This next one's a real good one. You guys did a song called I Come Blood on Tomb of the Mutilated. When you mind talking about how this song from Barnes era Cannibal Corpse came about?
Yeah, it's tough to remember. I mean, we just wrote songs back then. You're just writing. You got riffs. You come up with cool riffs and you put them together. I mean, I do. When you look at the credits for all our records, especially if the first three records were always done collaborative. It'd be whoever had riffs, we would put them together. So nobody wrote one song in particular. There could have been all five of us contributing, or the two guitar players, or Alex, or what have you, or myself. Because there you go. To get to your question, I was the one that actually kind of I came up with the beginning riff to "I Come Blood" myself, because I played a little guitar back in the day, and I wrote a lot of the Tyrant Sin songs, and I was dabbling a little still in the guitar in the early days of Cannibal, and I remember I wrote that riff, the beginning riff, and I'm 100% sure Jack Owen helped me out a little bit, maybe kind of morphed it a little bit, but overall it was my main idea. So that's the only thing I can really kind of remember about that song, because I came up with a little bit of that beginning riff there. So, but it was just, like I said, collaborative efforts for all those songs. We're just trying to write the next good song. So, obviously you're not going into it thinking you wrote some masterpiece, or some song that might be a fan favorite and be, still be played to this day, or what have you. You just, you're writing songs that that you want to hear as a band, and you're just trying to come up with some cool stuff, and that's all we were doing. Still do it that way, but yeah. But it's kind of crazy to think back in those early days, like I said, how just collaborative everything was. It was just get up to the practice room. All right, who's got a riff? Who's got this? Okay, before you know it, this end of the night, a song is complete. So, fairly quick and fairly painless in that way, which is definitely far different than how we're doing things today.
Cool, man. And I loved the opening lyrics in that song. Swollen with liquid, ready to burst. A load of my limbs will quench this dead body thirst. I clearly remember those lyrics when I studied the song.
Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, Barnes wrote some crazy stuff back then, of course, and those are big, intricate parts of the songs, and the title itself. I mean, so all goes in hand, and it's a classic.
You guys did a song called Devoured by Vermin. How do you feel doing this song from Vile?
Oh, awesome, man. I mean, that was we felt that was the new era of the band, in a sense, coming off of the Bleeding album, and we just felt we were progressing as a band, musically and sonically, and our just music, being better musicians, all that kind of thing. So we just felt we were up in our game, and Alex wrote the whole song "Devoured by Vermin." Actually, that's when we started really kind of having a little bit more individual efforts. Started a little on the Bleeding, but by the time we got to Vile, it was a lot of individual effort in one person maybe writing a song, and Alex wrote all of "Devoured by Vermin." And what I do remember about that, it might have been the last song we wrote for the session of that ended up being Vile, and we wanted it to be the first song on the record. We felt it was super strong, super catchy, fast, all that, brutal, and and it did. So, it was just one to start the record, we felt, and, a very, very powerful song that really was dictating, I think, the direction we were going in as a band. So that was cool to have that as George's his debut, being Here We Go, Cannibal Corpse, new singer, hearing George Fisher, that scream in the beginning of Devoured, and, kicking in with the speed and all that, and, the very ferocious. It was pretty cool time, and pretty cool to have that, opening the record for Vile.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. By the way, three of the vocalists I've learned from: myself, Chris Barnes, George Fisher, and one that you'll probably miss yourself, Joe Patek, Broken Hope.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, there's some legends in the day, and a lot of these guys were the forerunners of the scene. So that's awesome to hear.
You guys have a limited edition beer out. Would you mind talking about this beer and how it came about?
Yeah, I mean, we actually, it's been out for a little bit there. We collaborated with a brewery out of the outskirts of Chicago, Illinois, in the United States, called Three Floyds Brewing, and they do a lot of collaborative efforts with bands, and they did over the years. We got wind of some people that knew of the band, and some bands that already collaborated with them. Oh man, you guys should get with them and collaborate. Oh sure, all right. We got to get just in the right contact with the right people. And that's what ended up happening. We got a hold of the people at Three Floyds. They were totally down to wanting to do a collaborative effort with us, and we were like, yeah, sure, let's do this. It'd be awesome. Have a Cannibal Corpse beer out there. So this was I can't remember how long ago this was now. This was a few years back, and it's all limited runs with the beers they do. But luckily for us, it's called Amber Smashed Face. From Three Floyds. I know it's limited. Not a lot of people can get it or have it. But it was supposed to be only like a couple of batches of beer that they make, and that's that. Usually it's over within a few months. But we ended up getting a couple of batches brewed out of them. I know it won some awards in the beer communities, and then they recently just recanned it because it was all made in bottles initially. And when we played the Decibel Festival a couple of years ago in Philadelphia, when we played the one in Denver, like a beer fest, Three Floyds was a part of that. And they said, hey, we're going to rebrew a batch of the beer for the festivals. Yeah. Hey, sure. That's awesome. Why not? People seem to like it, some cool artwork by Vincent Locke. And, so there you go. That was it's our collaborative beer effort there. That's luckily for us, it's still a little bit of ongoing, but it's definitely not something that's readily available to the masses, unfortunately. So, but fun things to do, fun to do, fun to have a beer out there, like that.
You guys have a coffee line out too. Would you mind talking about how this coffee came about and what it costs and where it can be ordered?
Yeah, and that was another collaborative effort more recently that, basically a company out of Orlando, Florida, Concept Cafes, got a hold of me saying, hey, we'd love to, we love the band. We'd love to, make a collaboration with you guys on a coffee if you guys are interested. And so, I'm a big coffee drinker, and I know Alex, our bass player, and Eric Rutan, love coffee, and, why not? I mean, most people like coffee. It'd be cool marketing thing, cool thing to collab on, have a Cannibal Corpse coffee, right? So we have Vince Locke involved again, our artist, draw up a nice cool label. And, the company itself is really awesome people, really gung ho. They're really pushing the product, and they're really, really excited for this coffee. So that what ended up happening with the coffee, unlike the beer, the coffee is here to stay. I mean, this is here to stay. You can go to our official merchandise web store, kingsroadmerch.com, and order it on our web store, our official Cannibal Corpse web store. Probably the link is in cannibalcorpse.net, our official Cannibal Corpse webpage, or you can go to beheadingandbrewing.com, because that's the name of the coffee, and that'll link you to where you can buy the coffee. I know they're shipping pretty much everywhere nowadays, worldwide. You get a whole bean, or you can get it in grounds. And then they were doing some limited edition cold brew cans that were just brought into light a few weeks back. And so it's exciting. I'm not sure on the cost. I really don't. You'd have to just go to the website and find out. I'm not sure what it costs for a bag of the coffee, but it's good coffee. I mean, these quality people making a quality coffee, and that's the only way we were going to do it. But we knew we were working with a company that cares about coffee, and we were going to make something that people are going to hopefully really like. And I mean, when we sampled it and we signed off on it, and we were like, yeah, man, this coffee's great, and I think people are going to really, really dig it. And so far so good. The coffee's been selling well, and but like I said, this one's here to stay. This should be here for a long time, unlike the beers. So check it out.
Right on. I'll have to order myself some of the coffee, because I tried the company Death Wish Coffee. They're crazy. They're good too.
Yeah, they are good. Death Wish is very good. You're right.
Yeah. You guys did an album titled Chaos Heroic in 2023. How did this album's title come about?
Well, you got to call an album something, of course. And then I think when you look at all our albums collectively, I mean, usually the title kind of sums up somewhat who we are, what we do, and just trying to come up with something a little different. You always want to maybe try to use a phrase or words, of course, that you didn't use before. Whether it's in a title, yes, you don't want to use the same words in your album title when you're only, that's 16 now. You don't want to you want to use the same words for the most part, every album title. You might get a lot of, in songs, you might get a lot of, here and there, some overlapping words here that you've used, but definitely when it comes to the album title, I think it's important to, use some words and maybe a phrase that of course you just didn't have before. So gets a little trickier these days, but I remember I came up with the title Chaos Horrific. Just, you start brainstorming when you have to. All right, what are we going to call songs? We need song titles. We need song ideas. We need an album cover. We need an album idea. What do we call an album? And I thought, horrific, that was a word we never used before really in any title. So you're thinking, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I don't know why, just like I said, you just start brainstorming, and then Chaos Horrific comes into my head, and I'm like, wow, that's got a ring to it. I like that, so then I mull that over for a little bit, and then I address, hey, when we start talking about, to the guys about titles, I just want to make sure I'm solid with it. And I thought of it for a week or whatever. I'm like, man, I really, I can't get it out of my head. It's really cool. I'm going to bring it up to everybody. Okay, this is hey, I got a cool title. Obviously we're open to anybody's ideas and suggestions. So I just said Chaos Horrific, and a couple of the guys immediately were like, oh man, that's really cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And I'm like, well, all right, I'm down. I came up with it. So then we decided to call it that. So it's just really all that brainstorming, like I said, coming up with something a little bit different, but then something that kind of, it sums up with what we are. You can, Cannibal Corpse. I mean, we're Chaos Horrific, aren't we? I mean, so I think it really sums up, and it's a cool title, and you got to go with with your gut a lot of times, and luckily that worked out.
Right on. Man, sorry for hogging my throat there for a sec. I'm drinking coffee while we're doing the interview.
No problem, man.
Just so you know, this next one is a really good one. Who's on the current Cannibal Corpse lineup, and what instruments do they play?
Well, I mean, myself, Paul Mazurkiewicz, the drummer, that have been there since day one. So, and then Alex Webster, the bass player, who has been there since day one. We're the two lone original members of the band. And then you have Rob Barrett playing guitar as well, and it's a second stint in the band. He ended up replacing Bob Rousset when we kicked him out back in 90, I guess it was 92, 93, and then he was in the band for a couple of years. Rob quit, and then he came back after Jack Owen left in 2005. So Rob, since then, has been back in the band for almost 20 years now, playing guitar. And we have Eric Rutan, of course, playing guitar now for the last, say, 5 years with us in the band. And then just George Corpse Grinder Fisher, who has been in the band since 1995 after replacing our original singer. And, he's been in the band, 25 years now or so. But that's the current line of Cannibal Corpse.
Who was the artist used to design the album Chaos Horrific? Was it your usual artist for all the albums from Violet onwards, or did you change artists for this album cover?
No, that's Vincent Locke. He's done all our album covers, not from just Vile onwards. He did Eaten Back to Life. He did Butchered at Birth, Tomb of the Mutilated. He did all our album covers. The only one he didn't do would have been Kill, because we didn't use artwork for that album. We just, used the logo with the word Kill on there, and everything else though, that has a cover, the rest of the albums, Vincent Locke has done them all. So he's been with us since basically the beginning. And, I think it's synonymous with Cannibal Corpse, Vincent Locke's art. And, like I said, we bring them in for collaborative efforts like the beer and the coffee and, anything that's going to need some piece of artwork. Well, I mean, his art goes with us with Cannibal Corpse. So we always want him to be involved in any capacity that comes up in that nature. So yeah, Vincent Locke's the man, and he did a great job. He always does.
Okay, I didn't know he had been with you guys since the beginning. I thought he started the art around 95. My mistake.
No, that's all right. You learn something new every day, right? So.
Yeah, no kidding, man. What are the band's immediate music career goals?
Well, I mean, at this point in time in our careers, I mean, we've been around 35 years, and we're just happy to still be here, to be relevant, to we feel we're making good music, and we're all feeling good about ourselves and all that. You just take it day by day. I mean, at this point, if it ends tomorrow, we can look back at a long career we had, a long run that treated us very well, and being unbelievable, way better than we'd ever expected anything to happen like this with our careers and our bands. So I think, like I said, you just take it day by day. And you just want to keep going, play tours, write records, what we've been doing since day one. Just keep it rolling, and that's it. So yeah, like I said, though, the older we get, you just, who knows, we're not 20 years old anymore. I mean, yeah, obviously we're towards the more end of our career than we are in the beginning at this point in life. That's why I said, if it ends tomorrow, we can look back and go, hey, what a great run we had. But we're not even, we're still looking ahead. Yes, because we know we could still possibly have 10, 15, 20 years. Who knows, right? I mean, that's the thing. When you get to our age at this point, you don't know how long we can take it. How long am I going to be able to play drums like this for? Am I going to be able to do it for another 5 years, 10 years? Can I do it when I'm 70 years old, which is only 15 years away? So, just take it day by day and just have fun, and, keep rolling what we're doing. And that's all we can do.
Cool, man. Another band I forgot to mention to you earlier, Malignancy. I'm good. I've been a fan of them since the Motivated by Hunger album. I learned a bit of Danny's vocals too in my arsenal.
Oh, nice. Cool. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Was that your bird in the background?
Got a zoo here. My daughter has a lot of animals. I got animals. We got a zoo here. So.
All good, buddy. I was just asking what that was in the background. It kind of
Oh,
surprised me. Where can Chaos Heroic be ordered from?
I guess you go to metalbladerecords.com, metalblade.com probably has it. I think our website, like I said, kingsroadmerch.com, all one word. I guess if you went to cannibalcorpse.net, I'm sure there's a link in there to buy the record. So online, I guess that's where you would go. I mean, or wherever you can go. I mean, you can get it digitally, you can buy it off all the other platforms, right? You can obviously go to your local record store, I'm sure, and get it. But yeah, online, I would think you'd want to go to metalblade.com or cannibalcorpse.net or kingsroadmerch.com to get the record.
I'm kind of sad. The store I used to buy all my Cannibal Corpse CDs from up here, HMV, closed down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that a lot of the stores have closed over the years. I know it was such a big thing, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem as big as it was. Although vinyl is doing great, people want the vinyl, and you still want physical copies. But yeah, a lot of the record stores seem to have not made it over years, which is very, very unfortunate. I know.
I know it is sad, man. This next one's a really good one. Does the band have any band gear endorsements?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we endorse a lot of products, a lot of gear, a lot of companies. I mean, myself being, I can only, I mean, I know those guys. We all do, but I play D drums. I endorse Zildjian cymbals. I have Charchi Capito, these Polish-made pedals, my bass drum pedals. That's why I'm endorsing that. I play Vic Firth drumsticks. I use Evans drum heads, and it's pretty much it for me. But but those guys, Rob plays Dean guitars. Eric uses BC Rich guitars. So there's a list, there's a line, there's a list. The best way to find all this information out, to tell you the truth, because I don't even know it all, is just to open up. Like, yeah, if you have a copy of the new record, Violence Unimagined, or Cast Horrific, I should say, one of those two. There's always a listing of the gear that we're endorsing inside the booklet or whatever, and you'd be able to get a whole list that way. So
Awesome, buddy. Oh, also, when you get a chance to on your own tour, say hello to Eric for Metal Craig, please.
I will. All right, you got it.
What are some of your favorite moments when on tour?
Well, just playing, right? That's why you're on tour. I mean, that's why you're there. I mean, touring is hard. It gets harder. You're having to travel. You have to live in a bus and live in hotels, live in a plane, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't, doesn't get any easier living that way. But when you get on that stage and you play your songs and you're playing in front of the fans and the people that want to be there to see you, that makes it all, worthwhile. That's why you're there, right? To connect with the fans and to play your music for them. So those are the reasons you're there. And then, yeah, I mean, every now and then, yes, you get, you need a break, you play a few shows in a row. Hey, it's good to have a day off, and just kind of recharge, right? Rest the body and, get ready to do it again. But the main thing is just really, yeah, playing the show. That's what you look forward to because that's why you're there.
This next one's a really good one. What are some of your favorite moments when in the studio?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, studio for me is not like playing live. The studio is a little more tedious. Live's live. Whatever happens, happens. That's the spur of the moment thing. The studio, you're under the microscope. Time is money, all that kind of thing here. So you got to be really prepared, and it's a little more stressful, and for me, anyways. So. But it's the same kind of a thing. I'm there to play my drums. I'm there to play the songs that I learned and, to lay down for the next record. So it's kind of as much as it's tedious and a little nerve wracking, when you can lay down a new song and finish it and, listen back and go, wow, that's cool. Here we go. We just created a new Cannibal Corpse song. I just played drums on a whole new song that no one's ever heard yet and about to hear. And you never know, maybe it's going to be the next classic. Who knows? Right. So it's it's fun to feel that, and it's just fun to be around the guys in a different light like that. When you're in the studio, just having a good time, positive feelings, and just having fun. It's cool, but yeah, completely different than being on the road for sure.
You mentioned the bleeding earlier in the interview. You want to know which song's my favorite off that album?
What's that?
Stripped, Raped, and Strangled.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. Classic. It's a fan favorite for a lot of people. So, but and I understand why. So that's cool.
The other one I liked the most off that album was the Pickaxe Murders.
That's a good one. I mean, the whole album, The Bleeding, is really arguably our best record. I mean, when you think of all the songs, everyone's kind of like, wow, you listen to the whole thing collectively, and it's just, a lot of hits, a lot of catchiness, just groove, everything, and that's why a lot of people will cite The Bleeding, I think, as their favorite record, and I can understand that too, totally. It's got the complete package. I mean, every song is just, it hits you like that, and they're all different, and we just we hit the nail on the head for that one for some odd reason, but that's it's good to hear, man.
One of my favorite songs George Fisher did that I've been trying to learn, and it's hard for me to do, is that minute and 50-second song you guys did.
On which album?
I don't remember the name of the album. I have it in my arsenal, but I don't know where it is right now. I'd have to go look through 700 CDs to find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure the time. I mean, we got a couple of short ones, so I'm not even sure what song you're talking about. Hey, hold on 1 second. Hey! Gotta yell at the dogs real quick.
Okay. They sometimes start acting up, but it makes for a more lively interview, buddy.
Hold on 1 second, sir. I got it. Let me tell these guys to be quiet
here. Rascally dogs.
I was hoping I wouldn't have any dog issues, but unfortunately,
it happens sometimes. Sometimes my cat jumps up on the back of my chair and startles me during an interview. It's happened once before.
Yeah, I hear you. Mine usually just walk in front of the camera, and I haven't that happened, so that's good. But
what are some of the dates for the upcoming tour you leave for in mid-April, and where can the band be found on this tour?
We're playing everywhere in North America. I mean, it's a North American run. I mean, we got a lot in the United States. We got a bunch in Canada, as a matter of fact, right? So we're playing everywhere. I mean, it's going to be a cool run with Amon Amarth and Obituary and Frozen Soul, and we'll be up in what I know we're going to be. I'm pretty sure we're playing in Vancouver, and I think we got like some Midwest Canadian dates. the only East Coast Canadian date we got is Quebec City, and we haven't played Quebec City in years. So yeah, and then a bunch of places in the United States, so there you go. If you want to get the full listing, I'm sure it's the same thing. You go to cannibalcorpse.net. There's got to be a listing of all the dates for the tour, and but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really solid tour. But it'll be fun to get up to do some more shows in Canada. We haven't done that in a little while.
I hope you guys come back to Winnipeg, Manitoba with Ammon Amroth for the show. I'll try and make it out if I can.
Yeah, awesome.
It's been too long since I've seen you guys in person.
Oh, cool. Well, then you're due.
Sorry, I lost my question. Placing the question. Just give me secretary group here. What do you see in the near future for Cannibal Corpse? Any plans to make more music and keep going?
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, we stressed upon that point of we're just doing what we do. I mean, we want to keep going. We feel good. We feel strong. We feel relevant. We still feel creative, healthy, all those things. So why not just we just do what we do? This is what you wanted to do your whole life, and you've been doing it. So why not continue? So that's basically the plan, barring something happening, right? Knock on wood, nothing happens to anybody, or health issues or what have you, right? So but if everything goes just the way it's been going, there's no reason, of course, why we wouldn't just keep on doing what we do. We obviously we just released Chaos Horrific, and we've done a couple tours, and we got some more touring to do for that record. But when that's all said and done, we'll just be doing it all again, right? We'll start writing some new material, and put out another record and do some more touring. So that's basically the plan. So unless something else, like I said, happens, then that's what we'll be doing.
This next one's going to get you thinking a little bit. Who are the band's musical influences?
Well, I mean, we all were products basically of the, in the 80s thrash scene. That's what really kind of, that's what we grew up in, when we're teenagers and getting into the music, and, growing up like, oh, this new band comes out and you're, 15 years old. What's Metallica? What's that? And like, world by storm, and it changes us and changes you. We're just fans of heavy metal, and then the bands like that come out, and we were just like blown away, and it just taken it to a whole nother level, and it changes you, right? So, and then we were impressionable teenagers at that point, so a couple of years go by, you got bands like Slayer coming out, and all the thrash scenes happening in the mid 80s, and that's when we're becoming old enough to say, hey, I want to be in a band. I want to play music. I want to do this, So those are the bands that were really influencing back. I mean, all the way back to even before that. So the regular metal like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Black Sabbath in the early 80s, before there was a lot of the thrash happening. And then yes, Metallica is a big influence for us, of course, and then Slayer, arguably, one of the biggest influences for just about anybody that's been around in this kind of music, especially in the early days, because they'd be the same ages as we were. All these bands coming around in the early 90s, late 80s, they're Slayer just was the kings, and still are, really, and made you want to do what you do. So all those bands like that, Creator, Dark Angel, Sacrifice, I mean, even the more of the crossover scene like DRI and COC and bands like that, The Accused, of course, like SOD. I mean, just all that kind of stuff that was happening in the mid. That's all what what we wanted to do. Huge influence for early death metal and for Cannibal Corpse, of course.
The three bands that got me started into the scene, I started off with Maiden at 12, but then when I got heavier, it was Dismember, you guys, Slayer, and King Diamond that got me into the heavy stuff.
Cool, man. Awesome. Those are great bands and musicians, and that's awesome to hear.
Do you guys have any social media outlets the band can be reached on?
Yeah, I mean, not many people probably get on socially too much, but we of course have all our accounts on Instagram and Facebook and X, the Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, I suppose. And I think some guys are on. I mean, and interact a little bit, but maybe not all. I mean, I do a little bit here and there, but but the band, of course, has those accounts, and you can get information and see things, see what's happening, and get it, get updates, all those kind of good things. But yeah, I would think they're just all pretty much Cannibal Corpse on all those platforms, and you're going to find us.
Right on. This next one's really going to get you thinking. What is your favorite song off Chaos Horrific for yourself?
That's a good one. I mean, I think that's a great record. I mean, really proud of all of them. I mean, I don't know why I really seem to lean towards Summoned for Sacrifice. I seem to really lean to that song when I listen to the album and when I play some of these songs. I mean, man, I think that was a Rob Barrett song that wrote that, and and I ended up writing the lyrics to that, but just the groove, the triumphant kind of beginning and all that. I mean, it's just something that really grabs me, and I think it's probably my favorite song on the record. Yeah.
This next one is a really good one. Please give some drum tips or advice for starting out drummers.
Well, I mean, you just got to practice, and practice and practice. I mean, if you have I mean, I never had a formal training, and maybe not a great idea, but at the same time, well, I became the drummer I became, and I mean, I think you just need dedication. Whether you're going to take lessons, whether you're just going to learn by yourself, you gotta play. You gotta dedicate yourself to that, and I think you will if you want to. I mean, I look at what we did or how I was. Right, I didn't learn. No one taught me anything, but I had where there's the will, there's the way. Right, so I just kept on going to practice. We'd play. I just keep hitting the drums. You periodically as time goes on, you're improving a little, getting better because you're up there playing all the time, and it's for a common goal too. You're there with your friends and you want to jam music and you want to play in a band, and this is your passion. So I think if something is your passion, whatever it is, being music or drums or anything, if you have that passion, you're going to find that way to do it, to get it done, to really push as hard as you can to accomplish your goals or what have you. So that's all I can say to anybody, but you just got to, stay true to yourself too. That's another thing. Just, play what you want to play. I mean, music is that kind of creative outlet. You shouldn't be playing anything you don't want to play. You should be, playing the passionate music that you want to create. And, for us, of course, it was death metal and playing brutal music. And, I think that's apparent because we're not trying to do something that's not in us. That's not a part of us. This is what we wanted and what we want. And this is who we are as musicians and all that. So just don't give up and, practice and be true to yourself.
Cool. That leaves us with two more questions for the interview, and then I'll need the station IDs from you, Paul.
Yeah, man.
The second last question of the interview is, please give some advice for starting out bands to help them promote themselves or get their name out there better.
Well, I mean, hey, it's a little different these days, obviously. When we started out, obviously no internet, and all that. So it's all a lot of groundwork. It's a lot of, tape trading. Right back in the day, it was tape trading and, trying to get in any little fanzine possible, doing any interview for any fanzine that was out there just to get the word out. Right. So nowadays it's a little different. So I would imagine it's a little easier when you can just get your music out online and, be able to promote that way, I suppose. But, so it's tough for me to fully answer that because I'm not, I don't do that personally myself anymore. Like for Cannibal, of course, everything's taken care of. It's management. It's, a lot of people working for it and doing that. And we've been around for 35 years. But you just gotta dedicate your time to the music, and I guess just whatever you can do, ask questions, to get to know people, get a lot of advice from whomever you can that's in the scene that has any credibility, I suppose, and just try to get your name out there. I think you will, but using the internet, of course, is a big tool these days. And that's going to be the way, the easiest way to connect with more people instantly, right? So so I guess you just want to promote, you want to make music, you want to get it out, you want to be on Facebook, I suppose, and all those social media outlets and YouTube, make videos, and just try to to me too, if you make good music, people will come. They'll find you. You'll get that recognition. I truly believe that. But still, you got to get your name out there, and you got to push. So that's important.
And now that leads to the last question of the interview, and then the station IDs will be done.
Yeah.
What new band news do you have on the Cannibal Corpse front? As in anything we haven't talked about so far in this interview?
Not really. We pretty much talked about everything that's happening, and like we know the tour's coming up with the Monomarth here, and we're just going to be hitting the road a little bit more so in the near future here. Some tours will should be getting announced before we know it here, and that's basically it. Just like I said, we're just plugging away here, doing our thing, and that's about it. So just keep an eye out on all the websites and all that kind of a thing, and like I said, some tours hopefully get announced before you know it, and but that's all we're doing. We're just at this point we're just playing music, just get out there and play to the masses.
Right on, man. And before we get into the station IDs, I'd like to thank you for this time over here at Craig's Maelstrom on Mangled Music Radio. And now for the first station ID, which is, hey, this is Paul Mazurkowitz of Cannibal Corpse, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio whenever you're ready.
Hey everyone, this is Paul Mazurkowitz, the drummer from Cannibal Corpse, and you are listening to Mangled Music Radio.
And then the last one's for my personal show, Craig's Metal Storm. You can come up with whatever you want in that one.
Craig's Metal Storm. Hey, you. I'm like, all right, hold on with it. Hey, all you listeners out there. This is Paul Mazurkowitz, the drummer from Cannibal Corpse, and you are listening to Craig's Storm.
Audio broke up a little bit. We're going to have to do it one last time, Paul.
All right, what was that it? Craig's Metal Storm?
Yep, you had the right show. It just had the audio cut out a little bit right when you said the Craig's Metal Storm part.
Craig's Metal Storm, though. Okay, all right. Hey, this is Paul Mazurkowitz, the drummer from Cannibal Corpse, and you are listening to Craig's Metal Storm.
Cool. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the interview, Paul. It was good catching up with you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, nice talking to you, man. Have a great one, okay?
Yeah, you had yourself a wonderful night as well.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we'll see you out there soon,
Yep. Bye.
All right, man. Take care, bro.